Hey guys, Metal Jesus here. Now it is a beautiful day here in Seattle, and so of course I had to get out and play my Vita. Now I appreciate downloadable games like everybody else, they're super convenient, but as a game collector, I definitely prefer physical games. So for this video, we're gonna cover a game company that is keeping those alive. It's called Limited Run Games, and they publish physical games for the Vita. They sent me a bunch of their first run games. If you like the Vita and you like physical games, you're gonna love this video. Let's take a look. Let's wander around the park and see what kind of games we can find. Loo. Whoa, okay, what do we got here? Breach and Clear. So Breach and Clear is the first release from Limited Run Games, and it's the rarest so far because, I think for a couple reasons. One, it was limited to 1,500 copies worldwide. That's not very many worldwide. Also, the game originally sold for $25. That's a pretty good deal. But of course, you want to know, is the game any good? And surprisingly, yes. Actually, I was skeptical, but when I popped this in, I played it for several hours. Basically, you control a special operations squad in this turn-based strategy game where each level has you fighting room to room, clearing out bad guys. It definitely reminds me a little bit of XCOM, but without the aliens. And this game is all about customization. So there's a marketplace where you can upgrade your squad and your weapons. You can also customize your loadouts, your armor, and you can even turn on permadeath if you want. That's right, so if your soldier dies in combat, they don't come back. They're dead permanently. It's pretty cool. So if you happen to like realistic, modern, turn-based strategy games, this is definitely one to pick up. Next up is an RPG called Saturday Morning RPG. Think of this game as a love letter to the 1980s, the pop culture of the time, and your childhood. There's a bunch of really cool references in here. For instance, there's a character called the Wizard who has the power glove. Also, there's references to war games, the original NES, also Back to the Future, and a ton more. For instance, your character is named Marty, like from Back to the Future, and look, it's like we're battling Cobra from G.I. Joe. How cool is that? You'll notice that the combat is mostly turn-based. You're gonna feel right at home with this if you've played any Japanese RPGs from the past 20 years, but there is a bit of active control, so sometimes a little bar will come up and then you have to time it right to get maybe an attack bonus. I think if I have any complaint with this game, it's gonna be the graphics. And I know it's a bit of a surprise, but I'm not completely sold on the idea of the Paper Mario style 2D cutout characters against the 3D background. I just don't know if it looks quite right. But that said, it's not a big complaint. This is actually a really fun game, and if you like this style, definitely check it out. Next up, look what we have here, Xeodrifter on the Vita. This game was created by a talented game developer called Renegade Kid. Now, they may not sound familiar, but you've probably played a couple other games, including Mutant Mudds on the 3DS. Such a great game. As well as some of the amazing looking games on the original DS, like Moon and Dementium. Here they are taking their programming talent and creating a Metroidvania style platformer where you control an astronaut who visits 4 nearby planets to repair his ship. Along the way, you'll encounter roadblocks that will require you to learn new abilities to proceed. For instance, the ability to submerge underwater to reach a new area. This is a relatively short game, but it does offer quite a bit of challenge for those of you who are looking for some old school fun. Fans of Super Metroid and Castlevania should definitely check this game out. Look at the beautiful scenery, the water. Oh wait, look at this. Oh, Octodad, Dadliest catch. Oh my God, all right. What do I say about Octodad? If you've played this game, you know why I'm struggling a bit with this, because it is really out there. This is a really weird and unusual game, but I think that's part of its charm. Basically, this is a physics-based puzzle/adventure game where you control an octopus that is hiding in human clothes. Now the trick is you control each of your appendages with the controller, but because your character doesn't have a skeleton, it's very difficult to do without destroying everything around you. And that's the thing, he's trying to hide, he's trying to blend in, he doesn't want to be noticed, and that's kind of the joke of the game. And the game gives you relatively normal tasks to do. For instance, go finding your clothes to put on, your suit, or maybe you have to get your daughter's milk from the refrigerator and pour it in her cup. Now that sounds like it would be pretty easy, but when you're looking at this gameplay footage, it is anything but easy. This game is crazy hard. I'm gonna say this game is definitely not for everyone. I personally find it a little frustrating. I know there's the humor in there, and that's the whole point of the game, but it also feels just a little broken, and I guess that's part of the joke, and you just have to kind of go into it with your eyes open, knowing that you're gonna laugh a lot, you're gonna screw up a lot, and that's part of its charm. Loo. Oh, hey, what's that? Ooh, Futuridium. Futuridium is a really stylistic 3D shooter that's going to remind a lot of people of Star Fox, but honestly, it's more accurate to say it's closer to Iridium on the Commodore 64. So what is going on here? It's kind of hard to tell based on the psychedelic visuals, but that's part of its charm. That's why I like this game, actually. So essentially, you are a ship and you approach this level, which is like this ship out in space, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What you do have to pay attention to is the energy in the upper right-hand corner. You shoot these cubes that then expose the core, and then you can blow it up, and that ends the level. Now warning, this is an old school style shooter with all the challenge and frustration that goes along with that, but its flipping mechanic makes it feel fresh and exciting. Ah, such a beautiful day in Seattle. Ooh, what's this? Oddworld New and Tasty. Oddworld New and Tasty is a remake of Abe's Odyssey, which is a total classic and many of you have probably played. In this game, you control Abe, who is a Mudokon, who wants to save his fellow slaves at Rupture Farms. Now, in this game, there are actually 299 slaves to potentially save, and depending on how many you do, will depend on the ending you get. At first glance, this looks like a traditional 2D platformer, but actually it plays much more like a puzzle game. For one, Abe can't fire a weapon or fight on his own, so he occasionally has to possess enemies to get through certain parts. Also, he really just has to use his noggin. He has to think to solve a lot of this stuff. I have to say, the visuals in this game just look fantastic. This is a great update to the original game, and it's a total love letter to fans of the original Abe's Odyssey. Ah, nature. So pretty. Ooh, look, a Vita game. Ah, yeah, I love me some shooters, and Soldner X2 Final Prototype is a really good one. This is a cool side-scrolling shooter game. This game is packed with 7 levels, and it's accompanied by a pretty pumpin' soundtrack. It's really cool. I wish I could play it for you in this video, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. But you're gonna love it. Also, check out those visuals. I mean, they look beautiful. It's a mix of 2D and then also 3D backgrounds, and it runs at a fast pace. This game never slows down. The one thing I would say is that, I guess from a gameplay standpoint, it's a lot going on the screen. There's sometimes whenever there's bullets just filling the screen, enemies, you're firing, they're firing. It's kind of hard to keep track of. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's the color of the bullets. Also, there is this insane asteroid level that you just barely make it through. You have no idea how you did it because so much stuff is on the screen. But again, it's really fun. I also want to mention that this game has multiple difficulty settings, which is really handy if you're not good at these type of games, because easy mode is relatively easy in this, but there is challenge if you're looking for it. So that's a quick look at the first 7 games that they've released so far. If you want to find out more information, please go to limitedrungames.com. I also want to give a huge shout out to Doug, who is one of the co-owners of the company. I got to meet him at E3. Such a cool guy. Such a big fan of the gaming community. So thank you very much for sending me these. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care. If you're thinking about collecting for the Vita, I happen to have a PlayStation Vita buying guide on my YouTube channel. We talk about the different models. We also make some game recommendations. You're gonna love it. Also, I recently released a Nintendo DS buying guide. Perhaps you're thinking about collecting for the DS? Well, I got you covered. I release 2 new videos every single week, so make sure and be subscribed, and you'll never miss a new one. Thanks for watching.